Welcome to Unit 7, Lesson 2, Part 2, Picture Graphs. Welcome back, everyone. I'm so glad that you're here. We're going to take information that we used yesterday, the data that we grabbed, that we made tables out of with our tally marks and with our tables using numbers, and we're going to represent that again today, but in a different way. Today, we're going to do what they call a picture graph, or you might have heard the term pictograph. They, if I'm talking about a pictograph to represent data, what do you think I use to show the amount that I have in a graph situation? If you said pictures, you are definitely right. So let's get started. We're going to use the same information that we had yesterday from our habitat lesson, and we're going to make a pictograph or a picture graph. There are a few basic things that we always start off with. We have to have a title because somebody has to know, well, what are we graphing? We're graphing the habitats of animals. So we can put habitats. Next, in a picture graph, you have to have labels. Our labels tell us the different areas that these animals live in. So we looked at animals that lived in the ocean. That's our first label. Our second label would be animals that live in woodland areas or forest. Our next one would be animals that live in the Arctic cold places like the South Pole or Greenland or Iceland. Or Antarctica. Think of Antarctica. Ooh. Next, we're going to now represent our data. But we're not going to use tally marks this time. We won't be using digits. We're going to be using pictures. So, we won't be drawing out the ocean each time. What we're going to do, we're going to use a circle. And a circle is going to represent one. So, in the ocean, we had six animals that we had on our chart that we sorted that go into the ocean. So, we're going to draw 6 circles. You guessed right. 1 circle, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This represents the 6 animals. Now we move to the woodland areas. Remember, we're going to draw a picture. And a quick picture that we can draw is a circle. In our woodland area, we had only 2 animals. Watch us. Watch me. 1, 2. That represents the 2 animals. Next, we had the Arctic animals. How many did we have? We had 3. So we're going to draw 3 circles going up on our chart, starting from the bottom and going up vertically. 1, 2, 3. So our picture graph has a title, habitats. It has a labels, where the different animals live, and it also has pictures. Now we can take this information here and we make it answer a few questions. Let's try. Question number 1. How many total animal habitats were used to create this chart? How many different places do these animals live in? If you said 3, you're right. Oceans, woodlands, and Arctic are our three. Let's look at another question. How many animals live in the Arctic and woodlands? Well, that question had that word and. When I put when I hear the word and, I know I'm putting something together. So that means I must have to add. How many live in woodlands and in the Arctic? Let's see. Let's count our woodlands. 1, 2. Let's count our Arctic. 3, 4, 5. So when I take this 2 and put it with this 3, I end up with a total of, if you said 5, you're right. Let's look at the next question. How many fewer animals live in the Arctic than in the ocean? Fewer. Wait a minute. Fewer means that something is smaller. We have an ocean. I'm not talking about the woodlands, so I don't need this. And then I have the Arctic. Fewer. So this one I know is bigger because it has more than this one. So what's missing? Well, if I looked over here and look over here, there's one that's missing here. If I look here and look over here, there's one that's missing here. If I look here and then look over here, there's one that's missing here. But then these are the same. So when it says fewer, I must have to subtract. If you said subtract, you're right. So I have 1, 2, 3 fewer animals that live in the Arctic than live in the ocean. You did an excellent job today. Wow, look how we took information from our table and now we learned a new skill, how to make a pictograph. Thank you for joining me for part 2 of Lesson 2, Unit 7.